Before I begin, I will not be there for the discussion after that. I have to leave. If there's some discussion, Sundar, I request you to moderate.
Okay, sir.
Can I ask a few questions to this group? I won't take more than 5 minutes.
The introduction you are giving, sir?
And yeah, I'll be giving the introduction and asking some serious questions why we are studying on Vedanta. Now, religion and spirituality generally, all of us have both religion and spirituality. That means we do a certain amount of puja, prayers every day. Sometimes it becomes a little mechanical because it is, you have to get up, do this, and all that. Now, can you tell me when are those moments when your prayer becomes particularly relevant, particularly very specific? It is not an ordinary prayer, it becomes a special prayer. Anybody can unmute and keep on.
When you're in trouble?
Absolutely. Whenever you are in trouble. Whenever you are in difficulty, suddenly, even the most, non-praying person's God becomes relevant, God becomes meaningful. Suddenly, God becomes relevant. And for the first time, your prayers are, solid stuff. Now, where does prayer come? See, prayer and religion and spirituality usually come in whenever there is difficulty, whenever there is suffering. We have a nice example in Gautama Buddha. He saw an old man, a sick person, a dead person, and then life became meaningless because he had all the things in the world. And then the thought that if this is going to happen to me, then he looked for meaning. And of course, he discovered meaning. He came with the truth, Four Noble Truths, that the world is full of suffering. There is a cause of suffering. There is a way to overcome suffering. So almost all religions give us an offer to suffering. And how do we address the suffering? Each one in their own way, but most commonly, it is in this format. I am in trouble. This world is giving me a lot of trouble, and therefore I appeal to God. And can somebody tell me what is this in our language called? When I am in difficulty because of the world, I appeal to God. What is this called? What is this called? Okay. Any other word that we call? See, I am in difficulty.
Special prayer.
Special prayer. Anything else? Absolutely right. This is what we call as a triangular format. In the triangular format is what? I am a jiva. I am a limited being. I'm a being. So who's suffering? Who's causing my suffering? The world around me is suffering. Everybody around me, including my family, or sometimes my family could be a support. We do not know. Depends upon how I'm in trouble. So the world around me is. So I appeal to God. God, please help me to overcome the suffering. Now this is how Vedanta also initially encourages you go through the triangular format. Now, then afterwards, once you come to Vedanta, then you realize you have certain problems. These are some specific questions I see. When the biggest suffering is, if you really see, I'm getting old, I will fall sick, I will die. Now, does Vedanta offer a suffering to the problem of getting old? That means after going through Vedanta, will you be stuck at 16 like Markandeya? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Yes.
Will you be stuck at 16? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Your body is going to get old. After studying Vedanta, will you still fall sick?
Yes.
Sir.
After studying Vedanta, is it possible for them?
Yes, sir.
The answer is yes. Vedanta help you to solve your financial problems.
Yes.
Vedanta help you to solve your relationship problems.
No, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
It is not totally no.
See,
There is no relationship.
Vedanta is what? It helps you to cope. All right. See, if you really look, these problems will continue after Vedanta. Financial problems will be there. All this will be there. Then sometimes you wonder, what is this? I'm spending so much time. Not only much time, we have some 40 of us into, supposing one person, okay. But when you're taking a whole group of people and creating a time base, then sometimes you wonder, now, is this all a kind of a group psychosis? I'm Brahman, the world is not so real. Brahman, psychotherapy that we are going through? Is it some?
This reorientation meant.
No, no,
All right.
it's not the mind.
Yeah. Is it some form of psychosis? Okay, we are not about the mind.
Some
Now,
understanding, I think so.
all right. Now, see, whenever we promise something, you have to deliver. Now, when you say Vedanta is going to give you, see, when you, as I said, more than money is your time. When you invest your time, you want some returns. See, for us, those doctors here, you'll know, when a patient comes to you with trust, their whole life and they come to you. Now, before you take them over, you give them a certain promise that I'm going to deliver. Now, day in and day out, we struggle with this. We have to live up to all these promises. Now, in Vedanta also, that's what Swami Paramarthananda said, no? When the teacher promises you something, at the end of it, if you don't deliver, then what can you do? Can the student hold collar?
No.
That is why some of our gurus don't have collar. That you don't catch them by the collar. But then Swamiji says, see, if there is no collar, at least you have the Angavastra. You can catch your guru by your Angavastra. Because when your guru gives you a promise, he has to deliver. Not only promises. See, what is Vedanta? So in today's class, we will look into that. Does Vedanta really deliver? Can somebody give an answer? See, is Vedanta's a blind promise? Because honestly, we will get old, we will fall sick, we will die. What Buddha went to look for, that is not being answered. Financial problems, relationship problems will still be there. Now, many of you said, yeah, it is not a psychotherapy. It is not, I'm Brahman, the world is not real, the world is not going to affect me. Then what is Vedanta giving you?
Maturity.
An attitudinal change.
Our attitude.
Attitudinal change. So it's Vedanta is all about an attitude. See, attitude is again a psychotherapy, no? So I will, whose Kirti is it? Who said?
Purnima.
Purnima. And attitude is still in the level of the mind, no? So we don't want a mental change. A mental change is still a kind of a psychotherapy.
Acceptance.
Sir, is it belief that my own
Acceptance.
karma?
Freedom.
The belief systems are all psychotherapy only. See, I am good, I am great, don't worry, I am here to change the world. These are all belief systems.
No, sir. Knowledge about karma siddhanta.
That's right. It is a knowledge.
Intellectual understanding.
Yeah, it is an understanding intellectually. So therefore, Vedanta is not about any belief systems. It is not about psychosis. It is about knowledge. Knowledge means what? That is why when you get medical knowledge, you are knowledgeable. You have that knowledge. That is your great strength. Now, what is the greatest service medical doctors can do? Help you to understand what is going wrong with your body, and therefore what we can do, what medical science can do, if you can give a certain amount of understanding. So, therefore, Vedanta works on some fundamentals in knowledge. What are the fundamentals that Vedanta works on?
Satya Jagat.
Okay, that is the ultimate. But Vedanta will, when you go through the course,
I'm getting happiness.
Understanding of reality, sir.
the truth. All right. We have to break up the truth into some parts.
Atma and Atma.
All right. It will be, a little more. Who is this Jiva? Who is this Jagat? Who is this Ishvara? What is this Bandha? Is there a freedom from Bandha? What are the sadhanas? Now you can break it up. So therefore, why I'm saying all this? Sukanya, you're going to explain what this was. Puram Eka Dashadvaram. Now, this is one of the greatest mantras that this whole scripture has got. When you study this mantra, suddenly wake up. Who is this master of this bra? Who is the master of my body? Am I this body or am I the embodied? Anushtanam. Now the teacher says you are not this aging, sick, dying body. But understand you are the master of the body who's using this body for transit. Anushtanam. Meditate on this and establish them. After that, there is no grief because, nasoshati, there is no question of sorrow. And then you have freedom and freedom. See, from today onwards, from this worldly onwards, you will get some of the greatest mantras. After this Pura Ekadashadvara, when Dr. Sundar and others will be saying, what happens in one body is what happening in every body. If you're able to discover that extraordinariness in yourself, then you will be able to see the extraordinariness in the whole of creation, in the sun and the moon and the space and the water and what is born in the water, what is born in the land, everything. You will be having that identification with everything else. And then the subsequent verse, what Rekha, Ashwini, and also Dr. Sundar will say, is really how life happens. What is death? What is this subtle body? How the subtle body transmits original consciousness? What happens when a person dies? When you breathe in, when you breathe out. All these are the greatness of Kathopanishad. So if you really see these verses that we study from today onwards, some of them are Mahavakyas. Each of those verses or mantras are very special. We are so privileged, absolutely privileged to be able to study. 2 comments I will take before we start today's. This is Vedanta. Friends, I'm 100% certain, and I can assure you, we are on the right path. We have a great Acharya who is guiding us. He has not only offered his collar, he says, you can catch me by the Angavastra. And what I'm saying is gospel truth. See, I have discovered, I have seen, I'm telling you from my own experience, you don't have to worry. Vimuchare vimuchare. You be free, not posthumously. I'm not promising you something after death which nobody can verify. I'm promising you something that you can verify in your own life. And after that, he says, there is no question of rebirth. And then he says, don't be stupid enough to ask me that I want you to be my guru in my next life. You know why? I am not going to be there. I'm done with all this. You listen to his talks, he will explicitly say, don't be foolish to say that, next birth, I will see you next birth. You must be my guru in my next life and all that. Now, make your decision. I'm done with all this. I'm not going into the nursery school, first standard, second standard, your MBBS examinations. I'm done with all that. Get a decision. See, there is one verse, Viju Gupsase. That means that disgust of getting back into that womb. That need to be alive in this body should drop. That is when you become a Jivan.
On one hand, they are telling we are not looking for next Janma. On the other hand, we say it takes Janmas and Janmas to realize what I am, and Janmas and Janmas to burn all our papas.
All these are seeming only, Venkatesh Vipra. See, in this life only, Manushutvam, Mukshutvam, Mahabharata. See, in Kathopanishad, a little later, in the next worldly, you will realize no other law gives you such a clear opportunity other than Brahmaloka. Yamadharmaraja discusses, Gandharva Loka, Pitra Loka. You can go and enjoy in all those lokas, but to get Brahma Vidya, this is the place. Of course, he says Brahma Loka is possible and it is better, but to get a visa to go there is extremely difficult. So I'm not promising you. If you have human birth, if you have this human life, this is it. Venkatesh, don't see with somebody saying something. You're saying something, Venkatesh.
Nita saying something. Nita?
I love the way you said it with so much conviction. Don't look for next time.
Tell me, I didn't get you.
I love the way you said it with conviction. Don't look for me next time. This is it.
No, we should not. See, repeatedly he says, "Yetad raitad." This is it. It. Take it as gospel truth. We have got the gospel truth. There is nothing more refined. See, when sometimes it won't be clear. That is why we have the satsang. No, now if there is one lingering doubt in my mind, am I going to consume? Supposing there is a glass of water, but there is a doubt, there is some contamination. Am I going to consume that, however thirsty I'm going to be? So that one lingering doubt also should go. Let us see that what this Brahma Vidya should be truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It is knowledge about my true nature. It is the knowledge about the world around. It is the knowledge about God. From now on, when I go to the temple also, I will do namaskara. But what am I doing namaskara for? Guru, for the teaching, for having understood my true nature. I will do namaskar to the idol in front of me. But what am I saying? Tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agni. Ameva bantam. It is because of my light of consciousness, everything in this world is surviving. That sort of conviction. And I'm not going to the temple once in my life to make one special prayer. Sometimes, of course, we fall down and make that special prayer, perfectly fine. But then you recover. We have all this FIR. See, when you are in a position of power, when you can give favors to others, whenever you give favor to somebody, you're doing a disfavor to someone else. No, even in a temple, when you bypass and take a special version, that means those poor people waiting have to longer because your capacity to pay or push or elbow yourself and go ahead. Now, therefore, whenever we make a special prayer, means, God, that benefit that I'm looking for, give it to me and not to this fellow. It's like two kids asking the mother for the same thing. How discriminate from one child to another? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
When we ask for favors, so favor asking is disfavor to somebody. Now, therefore, all we ask is give me strength to go through my prarabdha. But then what? You have given me the Guru, you have given me the Acharya, you have given me this understanding. This is
Sir, 1 minute before you start recording. Panaga, can you just put on the video?
Yes.
Include